Luke Bryan's grief over Willie Spence exposes a quiet contradiction inside American Idol. Luke Bryan's grief over Willie Spence exposes a quiet contradiction inside American Idol. Luke Bryan is again speaking publicly about the death of American Idol runner-up Willie Spence, describing how the loss still impacts him and naming one change he wishes he could make: more time, more moments, and more attention paid to a presence he calls truly breathtaking. What, exactly, does Luke Bryan say he would change? In a group interview tied to the show's current season, the judges and host were asked what they would change from their time on American Idol. Luke Bryan answered with a single personal regret: "The first thing that popped in my mind is, I would have cherished more moments with Willie Spence." He framed that as a biggie, describing the experience of watching Spence perform week in and week out, and emphasizing how deeply Spence touched him in the audition room setting and beyond. He also underscored a sense of proximity. Willie Spence was from Douglas, Georgia, which he described as about an hour from his own hometown. For Luke Bryan, that closeness made the loss feel sharper, not abstract, and not easily compartmentalized as part of the job. What happened to Willie Spence, and what has been publicly confirmed? Willie Spence competed on American Idol during Season 19, which aired in 2021. He became a fan favorite and ultimately finished as the season's runner-up, with Chas Beckham winning. Spence died on October 11, 2022, after a car accident in Jasper, Tennessee, in which he crashed into a semi-truck. He was 23. After his death, American Idol issued a public statement mourning him, describing him as a true talent who lit up every room he entered, and offering condolences to his loved ones. Luke Bryan also posted his own remembrance, echoing the same central description of Spence's effect on people around him and stressing how quickly Spence could change the mood when he began to sing. Who benefits, who is implicated, and what are the responses? The immediate voices in this moment are the show's on-air leaders, judges Luke Bryan, Carrie Underwood, and Lionel Richie, alongside host Ryan Seacrest. The comments presented are not about blame or production decisions. They are about the emotional aftermath of building a long-running television institution that introduces young artists to a national audience and, over time, confronts real-life tragedy within that same family structure. Seacrest's response captures the broader tension: "You don't think those things are ever going to happen." He expanded the thought by noting that, when a show has that kind of history and has touched so many lives, it is still inevitably part of life that loss will enter the story. Outside the studio conversation, public remembrance has also taken civic and community form. The city of Riviera Beach, Florida, declared June 18, 2025, as Willie Spence Day, marking what would have been his 26th birthday. The event included special activities intended to honor his life and legacy, including a tree planting at Cunningham Park at Washington Elementary School. Spence's mother, Sharon Singleton Spence, spoke at the ceremony, describing she and Spence's father as humbled and ecstatic at the idea of planting a tree in their son's honor and describing it as something that will last a lifetime. Additionally, his parents launched the Willie Spence Champions Foundation, Incorporated. The context provided does not describe the foundation's programs or scope. Verified fact versus informed analysis. What does this mean when viewed together? Verified fact. Luke Bryan says he would have cherished more moments with Willie Spence, and he continues to feel affected by Spence's death. He describes seeing clips of Spence singing and feeling heartbreak for Spence and his family, while also wondering what Spence's career might have been. Verified fact. Willie Spence died on October 11, 2022, after a car accident in Jasper, Tennessee. American Idol and Luke Bryan both issued public memorial statements. Informed analysis, clearly labeled the contradiction, is not in what the show says, but in what the show cannot control. American Idol functions as a launchpad, a weekly spectacle, and a long-term brand built on possibility. Yet Luke Bryan's central regret is not about a performance choice or a career pathway. It is about time and closeness, human things the format does not prioritize. His comparison to a high school reunion, where people are missing years later, reframes the series as a long-running community with real mortality inside it, not just a competition with winners and runners-up. Informed analysis, clearly labeled the public tributes, an official city day, a tree planting at a school, and the creation of a foundation, suggest an afterlife of meaning beyond the televised narrative. They also point to the limits of what viewers see. The contestants' journey on screen ends, but the personal grief and community memory continue, shaped by families and local institutions rather than producers or ratings.